What is up, everybody? Hope you're having a great Sunday night. I'm in the middle of a 6-leg parlay right now. I got 4 hits. I need 2 games to go my way. I need the Bills to beat the Packers tonight, which should be an obvious, right? Like, I feel like that's should be an obvious. So I need that to happen. And then I need the Bengals to beat the Browns tomorrow. And if those 2 things happen, then I'll hit big on my parlay. Maybe I can quit my job. Okay, so it's not that big. It's not quite that big on the parlay. But needless to say, we want those things to happen so that I can have a good Monday. You know, Bills win tonight, I have a good Sunday. Bengals win tomorrow, I have a good Monday. Obviously, Houday Nation, part of the Bengals fan base as well. So just want them to win, obviously. They're playing the Browns. They should win. So, yeah, we're doing all right. Hope you're doing as well. Welcome back. If you like the video, like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Please comment in the comment section. Love to talk to you about our topics, which tonight we're going to be discussing the Jake Paul Anderson Silva fight last night, which I watched, begrudgingly watched. This is the first time I've ever watched a Jake Paul fight. I've never kind of fallen in before. Never really cared, never really gave a damn. Because I think it's all goofy. I think it's all sort of goofy. I think it's sort of fake. Obviously, I can't prove that, but it certainly comes off as fake to me. Boxing anymore. I mean, we'll talk about it. I want to get into it as part of the conversation. So I watched that last night. And then I also have been playing a shit ton of Call of Duty. I don't know how many hours I've logged at this point. It's got to be like 30. It's got to be about 1 billion hours. I feel like I've been playing. I played. So and yesterday it was even worse than that. I'm getting internet issues. I'm going to try something. Bear with me. Bear with me, please. As I There we go. There we go. Hopefully that's better. Maybe it's not, but hopefully it is. I feel like anytime, listen, if you use StreamYards, can you tell me this? Do you feel like StreamYards tells you that your internet is real shitty, but then you run a speed test and your internet is fucking fine and it's just StreamYard being a bitch? Because that's what I feel like is happening to me. I'm not saying that I dislike StreamYards. I think it's pretty good. It's just sometimes I think it's a bit of a bitch when it comes to your internet. And it tells you, hey, your internet's really bad. Like I'm looking right now, and I don't know. It just seems to me like I don't know. I think it's lying to me. Anyways, so we're going to talk about Jake Paul and Anderson Silva and kind of all the fallout and all the bullshit leading up to it. And then we're also going to talk about COD multiplayer because I played a ton of it and I got a lot of thoughts. So these are the 2 things we're going to talk about today. I wanted to talk about wrestling, but I was just so bored with wrestling this week that I have no interest. I have 0 interest in talking about it. I actually have less than 0 interest in talking about it. I know a lot of people, as I pop in this yoked because I'm jacked because I just got done working out. Not a sponsor. I know a lot of people are really into AEW, and I was for a long time. But lately, I've found AEW to be so boring. I don't even know why. I have no reason. I have no reason that AEW has been boring me lately. It just has. And we got about the worst Raw, maybe in the Triple H era of Raws this week. So I have like this much in me to talk about wrestling. I'm going to need a lot out of the Saudi Arabia show and this week, because right now the only thing that's carrying me as a wrestling fan is the Bray Wyatt shit. That's it. Without the Bray Wyatt stuff, I think I'm bored to tears and I'm just watching something else, right? I'm watching Monday Night Football. Or, I mean, I'm definitely watching it tomorrow, Houday. But I'm watching Monday Night Football, right? I'm watching anything but wrestling because I'm just bored to tears with it. I mean, shit, I spent last night watching Jake Paul fight Anderson Silva because I need something in the combat sports world to excite me. Wrestling ain't doing it for me. So I'm going to need some serious shit out of Saudi Arabia, out of WWE this weekend to pique my interest, or I'm going to need Bray Wyatt to grow wings and fly around or something, because I need something to pull me in. That's where I'm at. I don't know. Like, hey, in the comments, tell me, are you there? Am I crazy? Sometimes I feel like I'm crazy because I watch these like What Culture and fucking Wrestle Talks and all this stuff, and everyone is so excited about all this shit, and I'm just bored to tears by it. And then I think I'm like, I think I'm a nut or something. The Bray Wyatt stuff, don't get me wrong, I didn't comment on it last week too much. The Bray Wyatt stuff is good. That's good stuff. WWE is doing some good stuff there. But some of the other things that are going on, and some of the other storylines, and some of the other characters, like this is going to be controversial. I don't care. Okay, Liv Morgan, sucks. I said it. Okay. I said it. Oh my gosh, all the soy boy, all the Liv Morgan simps are going to kill me. I don't care. Liv Morgan sucks and she bores the shit out of me. Her character, her like gothic Harley Quinn character, we've seen that character 1,000 times. I'm pretty sure that's the same character that Alexa Bliss was playing, only better than Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan isn't good in the ring, and she bores me to tears. Okay, I've seen this girl 1,000 times, and I get it. I get it. All the simps love her. Okay, because you think you have a chance with her. You don't. All right, newsflash. You don't. You don't have a fucking chance with Liv Morgan. Okay. Other newsflash. She's not entertaining. She's boring. Alexa Bliss did it better. I need Liv Morgan either put with Bray Wyatt, which again Alexa Bliss did already. So if that's the route they're going, already seen it. I've seen Harley Quinn since I was a fucking 6-year-old watching Batman the Animated Series. I don't need to see every little goth girl act like Harley Quinn. I'm over it. I think people have been over it for years, right? Come on, do something different. How many Harley Quinn, how many 300-pound women do you see cosplaying as Harley Quinn if you go to any comic convention? It's like all of them. It's Halloween tomorrow. How many 300-pound Harley Quinn lookalikes do you think you're going to see walking around at parties tomorrow? 1,000 of them, okay? Because all these former juggalos and juggalettes now dress up like Harley Quinn. And no disrespect. I used to be a juggalo when I was 13 years old. ICP was pretty cool back then. The Great Malenko had just come out. It was very entertaining. They cussed a lot. I liked that. But I'm just sick of it. I need something more. So listen, me to you, WWE. I'm looking at you. I'm ready to be brought back in. Okay. I'm like begging for you to entertain me and bring me back. Because AEW, it's boring me. I don't know why it's boring me. Maybe it's because I hate Sammy Guevara so much. I think he's fucking worthless. And they just keep pushing him. Maybe that's it. I don't know what it is. Okay. Listen, WWE. I'm begging you. Bring me back in. I want to be back. I don't want to talk about Jake Paul. I don't want to talk about it. I'd rather talk about WWE. And I get to talk about another Paul because Logan Paul is wrestling Roman Reigns. Because the normies will love that. So we do that so that the normies will love it. But I need more from WWE. So listen, I just said I wasn't going to talk about wrestling. And I just talked about wrestling for what? How long have I been streaming now? Where's my fucking 9 minutes? So I've been talking about wrestling for at least 8 minutes. At least 8, because I went into it pretty quick. But that's all I got to say about it, okay? Give me a good Raw. I'll watch it after. I'm going to watch Monday Night Football and watch my Bengals beat up on those Browns tomorrow. And then give me a good Raw that I can watch afterwards, and we'll be in business. We'll talk. Give me a good show from Saudi Arabia. It might be. And we'll be in business. We'll talk. Keep the Bray Wyatt stuff going. We'll be in business. We'll talk in AEW to you. Entertain me. I don't know. Bring the Young Bucks back. Bring Kenny Omega back. We already talked about CM Punk. I don't want him back. I got to move on. Anyway, so that's that. That's how I feel about wrestling these days. And whatever, whatever. Like, they don't care. Why would they care? Why would they care? So let's talk about the Jake Paul Anderson Silva fight last night. All right. Listen, full disclosure, as I pop some of this in my mouth. I got to chew it. You like, hold on. Some people like that. When you chew into the mic, that was for you. If you like AMSR, whatever, that was for you. Listen, I've never watched a Jake Paul fight in my life. And I should preface this conversation by saying that. I'm going to be honest. I don't know who. Oh, I make videos for YouTube. Like I know who any of these people are. I didn't know who Jake Paul was. I didn't know the difference between him and Logan Paul. I obviously knew they were two different human beings. I didn't know they were brothers. I didn't know they had a show on YouTube. I knew they were like famous somehow, kind of like the Kardashians, where it's like they're famous for nothing. That's what I thought. I just thought, oh, these two Paul boys are famous for nothing. I knew one of the Paul brothers was a boxer. I thought it was Logan Paul. I thought it was the same one that was getting into wrestling. I was wrong. I'm a what do you want me to say? I'm like a boomer, basically. I'm not 13. I don't know who the fuck the Paul brothers are. Okay. But anyways, I knew one of them was a boxer. I thought it was Logan. And so, whatever. I kind of thought it was all bullshit, right? Like, it's weird to me that, and later I find out, okay, it's Jake. Jake's the boxer, Logan's the wrestler. They're two completely different people, but they're both pretty famous on social media, right? They own like some sort of hydration supplement company or something like that, as grifters are wont to do. They want to sell you this stuff. I don't know if it's any good. I use other types of hydration stuff. Okay, Element's pretty good. Use Element if you want to use that. I don't know. But anyways, that's who the Paul brothers are. So Jake Paul is undefeated. He's undefeated in the boxing world because he mostly boxes people who are either out of their prime, who are mixed martial artists. So they're not boxers. They don't specialize in boxing. There is a difference. I'm going to talk through this. There's a huge difference. Okay. Or like nobody's. That's Jake Paul. Jake Paul has fought one of those three categories of people. Okay. So he fights usually easy fights and he wins. He recently has he's been fighting like former MMA fighters, but like I said, MMA fighters who are out of their prime. Obviously famous for YouTube, but it kind of like, and anyways, I just have never given a damn. Okay. To me, I thought they were fake. Like I know wrestling's fake, but wrestling leans into that. Wrestling's like, oh yeah, we're, whatever. We're sports entertainment, right? Like we're sort of bullshit. And you know it when you watch. And so you can have fun with it because you know it. Boxing pretends to still be real. It's 2022 and boxing still pretends to be real. I'm not certain that it is. I tend to kind of think that maybe boxing is rigged and fake too. MMA is absolutely real. I love MMA. But boxing to me, it seems kind of fake because I have to be honest with you, okay? So when I see Jake Paul fight and I see him win and I see him beating these people, it's like, yeah, these are former MMA fighters. These are not boxers. These are guys who are obviously out of their prime, but Jake Paul still has no business beating these people in the ring, right? Like when I see Jake Paul go up against Tyrone Woodley, and I know Tyrone Woodley can be a bad motherfucker because I've seen Tyrone Woodley fight in the UFC. And when I see Jake Paul is going to box Tyrone Woodley, even if boxing isn't Tyrone Woodley's specialty, even if Tyrone Woodley is a mixed martial artist, which means, and this is the difference, I'm going to explain it right now. Tyrone, mixed martial arts it's in the name. It's a conglomeration of these different skill sets. You might be better at one skill set than the other. For instance, Ronda Rousey was really good at judo. She was an average striker. She would knock people out because she was strong, right? She had a lot of power. I mean, look at Ronda, okay? She's a powerful woman. So she throws a right hand, she can get you and knock you out. But Ronda was a world-class judo competitor. Like Olympic level, she did compete in the Olympics. World-class judo competitor, okay? Mixed martial arts is a conglomeration of all those different skill sets. So while Tyrone Woodley might be good at striking, he has to have all of these other expertise. He has to be proficient in all of these other forms of combat so that he can get out of holds or counter or be able to take people down. That it's you have to balance your skill set out so much more when you're a mixed martial artist. And because of that, you can specialize, but you're not going to be specializing in boxing. Okay. You're going to do MMA striking, which is different because you can throw kicks. You can throw elbows. It's just different. It's a different world. So if I take a great MMA fighter like Tyrone Woodley and I put him in the ring with a boxer in a boxing competition, the boxer is going to have an advantage because that's the boxer's specialty. That's what the boxer trains 24 hours a day. He trains in boxing. So you have to start there. So while I think if I put Jake Paul in a ring with Tyron Woodley, Tyron Woodley should beat the shit out of Jake Paul. Now, this doesn't happen. Jake Paul wins these fights. They're normally really boring. But it's also why Jake Paul targets these people, right? Because he knows he has an advantage. He can focus in on boxing while these other people are training in various different proficiencies, and he has an advantage. But they're big enough names that if Jake Paul beats Tyron Woodley, that's a big fucking deal. That makes Jake Paul look good. So it gives him an advantage while also he gets the benefit of beating a big name in combat sports. And you can't just look at boxing by itself, like combat sports overall. There's a lot of crossover there. So if you beat Tyron Woodley, the people like me who know that Tyron Woodley's a bad motherfucker, they're going to look at Jake Paul and they're going to think, shit, Jake Paul is legit. Jake Paul is a bad motherfucker. Now, because I'm a wrestling fan, I know a good grift when I see one. I also think that there's just so much damn narrative around Jake Paul that you could easily convince me it's fake. You could just easily convince me that it's all bullshit. Jake Paul's paying these people to lose. I'm not saying this is 100% true. This is my perception of what could be reality. Jake Paul is paying these people to lose so that he looks good. He looks better, right? I'm sure I know there's a lot of money being made. So last night, the big fucking fight. Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. Now this interested me because I know enough about MMA to know Anderson Silva is a bad motherfucker and is a hell of a striker, right? That's what Anderson Silva was known for, was his striking. And I even though he's 47 years old, keep that in mind. Anderson Silva is one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. He's one of the greatest strikers in mixed martial arts of all time. This to me was like a serious enough contender to Jake Paul that I thought, holy shit, Jake Paul, if this is real, if he's not paying Anderson Silva to lose, I kind of want to see Jake Paul get his ass kicked. So I watched this show last night. A lot of build up to it. A lot of build up around unionization for fighters and shit like that. I don't care about that. I'm not going to talk about it. You know what? If you want to unionize as a fighter, that's fine. Whatever. Do your thing. Do I think these fighters get treated poorly? I don't know. It's kind of one of those things, right? You sign up to do this. You know the risks going in. Do the promoters make a hell of a lot of money off these people suffering? Yeah. Do these people know what they're getting into, though? Yeah. So it's kind of hard. I don't know. That's kind of a hard place. But I don't want to get into any of that shit. So anyways, the show last night itself, I want to talk about the fight first, and then I'll talk about the show. I haven't watched any Jake Paul fight, but I've seen highlights and I've heard about him. And even though Jake Paul gets a knockout or does his thing or whatever, when he doesn't, they're pretty boring, I think, right? They're pretty boring. But this one wasn't like terrible. It was actually like fun to watch. It was fun to watch in a way that Anderson Silva at 47 years old can still duck and move and dodge. And I think there were times in the fight where, and this is my opinion, but I think there were times in the fight that Silva was making Paul look like a bit of a bitch, like the amateur that he is, because Paul would throw these punches and Silva is just dipping and dodging these things with ease, with relative ease. I understand that Paul won the fight. I really think that Paul won the fight off of one knockdown. I think that's it. Because there were a couple rounds, everybody's saying, oh, I gave Paul that round. I'm thinking, did you? Because Jake Paul was definitely driving the action. He's throwing a lot more shots. But Silva was, to me, sort of embarrassing him. Like, I'm watching Anderson Silva just dip and dodge, and I'm thinking, dude, Jake Paul is such an amateur. It kind of lends to the whole idea that maybe it was all bullshit and Silva was just kind of fucking with him, right? That's what it seemed like to me. Anyways, I'm going to share my screen because I want to show you this. This is the one real highlight from the fight. Yes, I want to bring in my screen. I get it. I want that one. There we go. So this was the one highlight of the fight. I don't know if sound will play, but I guess it doesn't matter if it does. Oh, and if it does and it's really loud, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Let me turn it down, actually, because it's loud as shit on my end. Here we go. That's it. Okay, that's it. That's the highlight. That's the highlight for the fight. Right? And I read a lot of this. And I'm thinking these people watch the same fight that I did. Let's look at this. The performance. This is CBS Boxing, by the way. The performance was largely a mature one from Paul, who showed legitimate improvement from his last fight. Again, I can't speak on that because I haven't watched another Jake Paul fight. So maybe he did. He did outland Silva, but only look at this though. Only 83-79. So it wasn't like he dominated the fight, landing 100 more punches. He landed a few more punches than Anderson Silva. But again, when you watch the fight, and this is my opinion, Anderson Silva controlled a lot of this fight. Now, Jake Paul's bitching, saying, people are criticizing him. People are saying he can't fight, and this proves that he can. But okay, you defeated Anderson Silva at 47 years old. So let's just take a step back. You defeated Anderson Silva at 47 years old, not Anderson Silva in his prime, at 47 years old. So while this might be the toughest competitor that you faced, it's not like a telling endorsement of your skills as a boxer. I think you look very amateurish. Watching him in the ring, he still looks like an amateur. And yeah, you're defeating mixed martial artists. Let's see you fight a legitimate boxer in a real contest, not one that you just kind of fart around with each other for 12 rounds or 8 rounds or whatever. Again, Paul is 6-0 now. He's there 4 knockouts. He's 25 years old. He's got if he wants to keep boxing, he's got a lot of years left in the tank that he can go. I'm sure that there was an audience for this, not just me. I'm certain that this did well. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Silva's so old that it's. I thought Silva was going to win. I did. Even at 47, I just thought he was going to win. But I should have known better. So this is an article from MMA Junkie, which is apparently owned by USA Today. I didn't know that. But this is the 3 biggest takeaways from Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. And they're asking the question, is it time to give Jake Paul respect? He's 6-0. Here you go. Okay, here you go. Not a robbery and certainly not rigged. So that's what their number 3 point is, to call out that this isn't fake, which leads me to believe it's fake. Why do you need to call this out? There's no choice but to address this element off the top. In the aftermath of Paul's win over Silva, there's a vocal minority. A vocal minority, by the way. I don't think so. I think a lot of people kind of think this is bullshit. Jake Paul is a fucking social media star. Now, granted, he's very privileged. He has enough money that he could pay for training. He has enough money that he could pay a dietitian. Thanks to all the 13-year-old morons, this motherfucker has a lot of money. And he can pay for training, and he can pay to be in this position. So money does talk. By the way, you can buy success, and maybe we're sort of seeing that. A vocal minority of social media commentators who seem to believe that either A, Silva should have won the fight on the scorecards. I think that knockdown won the fight for Paul. But I don't think it's ridiculous. I don't think it's a vocal minority, as if that's some sort of like diss. I mean, this feels like an insult. Like you're insulting people who think that Silva won this fight. I don't think that's an insult. I think that's fair. or the UFC legend took a dive or collaborated in some sort of scheme to fix the result. But let's think about why. Why would you think that? Why would you think that? Let me ask this question. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? But the punches were real. Yeah. You can throw real punches and pull them and not do a lot of damage. Have you ever been punched in the face? Were you knocked out instantly the first time? Maybe not. Look at this dumbass. Who the fuck wrote this article? Who's this bitch? Mike Bond. Boxing expert Mike Bond. Yeah, look, writes a lot about combat sports. It's idiotic to think this is fake. Shut up. It's actually hard to put into words. This guy's probably, I don't know what he looks like. It's actually hard to put into words how idiotic that notion is. If you were to claim that Silva agreed to participate in a boxing match with Paul, then going to lose, tarnishes his legacy in combat sports, I'm not going to make a big argument otherwise. It's fine if you want to feel that way. But going to the next step of claiming shadiness around the outcome is something different. You're accusing Silva of committing a felony-level crime, and one that would destroy everything he's done. Blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Dude, are you is it really that big of a diss? It's a fucking bullshit fight with a social media star. It's not even, you act as if this is fucking serious. Like anybody takes this shit seriously. Like anybody who watched the Jake Paul fight last night was watching because they thought, oh shit, man, this is a serious boxing fight. A boxing match. This is serious. This is very like Jake Paul could be a world champion, bro. He's that good. This is a serious fight. The joke's on you, I think, actually. It shows how much of a clown you are if you take a fucking Jake Paul fight that seriously. The dude is a fucking YouTuber. Silva is an MMA fighter. His legacy is in the UFC. This bullshit at 47 doesn't matter. Writing this article and talking down to people who think that maybe this is bullshit, that, you know, especially from you, like we should take your ass seriously because you write for the media. You write for USA Today. Oh, I just hate when like reporters talk down to people as if they know any fucking better. Like, oh, you know, obviously this is real. I know because I write for MMA Junkie. Look at this shit. These are not accusations to be thrown around lightly. You know, I got something for you. Boxing is bullshit. Boxing is a sport that used to be a serious sport. It has now been taken over by grifters and influencers. And if you don't believe me, name 5 professional boxers. Do it right now. Do it in the comments section. Don't cheat. Don't Google it. Name 5 currently active professional boxers, not MMA fighters, not influencers who are pretending to be boxers, not former NFL players who are pretending to be boxers. Name 5 actual boxers in the comments. I bet you fucking can't do it. Without Google, I bet you can't do it. And that should show you everything you need to know about boxing. Boxing is, and listen, I'm going to take a lot of shit for this. There's going to be a lot of people who are pissed at me. There's going to be a lot of fans of boxing who are going to be real butthurt about the shit that I'm saying right now. And I'm going to be honest with you about that. I don't fucking care. Argue with me about boxing being a serious sport. Seriously, there's 500,000 boxing leagues, 500,000 boxing championships, so many championships, and not a damn. I feel like anybody who boxes on television is a champion. Every time I watch a boxing match, I see some guy who's a champion of something. It's absolutely ridiculous. MMA has made it seem like clown shoes. Like when you watch MMA, it's just such a better sport. It's just honestly such a better sport. It's such a more entertaining sport than boxing. And the only time I ever hear about boxing now is because some influencer, social media star, former NFL player, doctor, I guess, who TikToks, which there's a guy who was on the card last night who isn't even a professional boxer. He's a TikToker and a doctor. And here he is fighting on Showtime boxing. And I'm supposed to take this seriously? Le'Veon Bell was boxing last night. He's a fucking football player. I'm watching this and I'm supposed to take this seriously? And then you're telling me, oh, this is a very serious sport with a very serious, there was literally a boxing event like a month or two ago, maybe 3, that was just YouTube people. And I'm supposed to, there's like a whole world of it now where YouTubers and social media people, Twitch streamers have like taken over boxing. And 9-year-olds are paying to watch it because they like love it or something. I mean, seriously. There's like hype around Sam Hyde, I think that's his fucking name, wanting to fight Hassan Piker, who's a retard socialist. And there's a lot of hype around that. That's like a legitimately, like, people are hyped to see that fight. And you want to tell me that boxing is a serious sport? So this guy who's talking down to you because, oh, this might be fake, and he's like a gatekeeper for this, protecting this the honesty and the morality of boxing, is a fucking joke. Let's just be honest. Clown shoes, walking around, boop 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 boop, walking around in his clown shoes. Jake Paul is part of the reason why boxing is a joke. Because all of these other influencers see how successful Jake Paul is. I'm not taking, look, he might take this shit very seriously. He's got a lot of money. He can pay to train, like I said earlier. I'm not going to take anything away from him. I don't even care if it is fake. If it's entertaining for people, fine. But don't talk down from your perch about how, oh, how dare you? How dare you? Here you go. Did Silva fail or overachieve? He's 47. He didn't fail. Yeah, by no stretch should Silva be ashamed of himself. No shit. Paul's next steps prove promising. I don't know. He called out Nate Diaz, which is obviously a big money fight for him and a big money fight for Nate Diaz. So I don't see any reason why neither of them will do it. I also wouldn't put it past Nate Diaz to take a paycheck to lose the fight. I just wouldn't. Money talks, man. And when you're talking this much money, and this is a lot of money, but when you're talking this much money, like, no shit. You're talking millions of dollars. Would you throw a fight for millions of dollars? Because I would. Does that make me less honorable? No, it means I fucking want money so I can live my life, so I can enjoy my life and feed my family. That, matter of fact, that's the most honorable thing you can do. Is get enough money to feed your family and then take care of them. So would I put it past Anderson Silva to take millions of dollars to throw a fight? No, I sure wouldn't. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't blame him if he did. So there is that. Anyways, this article is whatever. Well, apparently Uriah Hall is calling next dibs on Jake Paul. Listen. No disrespect to Uriah Hall. But it's probably not going to be you, brother. It's probably not going to be you. No disrespect. Okay. Uriah Hall is a good fighter. But I don't think there's money there. I just don't. So no disrespect to Uriah Hall. It's probably not going to be you. You can call out whoever you want. It's not going to be you. So anyways, I'm concerned about the state of boxing because boxing now is just grifter, influencer bullshit. 9-year-olds watch it. Whatever. Was the fight not... The fight was like entertaining in a sense that it's fun to watch Anderson Silva fight even if he's 47 and old as shit. He's kicked my ass. Still fun to watch. Do I take it seriously? No. It was entertaining. That's what it was. Do I think that Jake Paul is a legitimate, serious fighter who could beat an actual legitimate boxer in a real fight? No, I don't. And I don't think anything's going to convince me that that's the case. So there is that. And again, I know I'm going to take heat for this. It's just what I think. Sorry. If you think Jake Paul is a very serious fighter who should be taken very seriously in a very serious way, well, that's good for you. Start your own YouTube channel and you can talk about it. Maybe Jake Paul will come on it. I highly doubt it, but maybe he will. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the event last night. The rest of the card is like not even worth talking about. I think I hit on it. There was a doctor who fights, who TikToks, and there was Le'Veon Bell. And then there were some real boxers, but nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit because it's boring. I'm sure one of them was a champion, but it's boring, so nobody cares. That's that. All right. So I want to take a few minutes. I want to talk about Call of Duty. So, you know, one of my biggest fears about Call of Duty was how woke was it going to be? Because I knew that they were going to sneak some wokeness in, obviously, right? Everything does nowadays. So I knew there was going to be some, you know, forced diversity and you know, whatever in there. That's fine, whatever. Who cares? You expect it. I don't play Call of Duty because I want to be preached at about social justice. I honestly couldn't give a shit less about social justice when I'm playing Call of Duty. As a matter of fact, walking around shooting a bunch of diverse people in the head and killing them like you do in Call of Duty is probably not the best way to push social justice, in all honesty. The more I think about it, I mean, let's be honest. When you play Call of Duty, what are you doing? You're not running around hugging each other. You're, you know, running around shooting other people in the game. That's what you're doing. So it's probably not the best representation of diversity or social justice or anything. Actually, it's probably a racist's dream to be able to run around and do that to other people in the video game. But needless to say, Call of Duty was surely going to deliver on some wokeness. And of course, you get it. So the thing is, Call of Duty, Activision, they released the campaign early because no one's going to play the fucking campaign once multiplayer comes out, right? It's the only way you're ever going to get people to play the campaign is offer up operator skins and perks and you know, gun blueprints and yada yada yada. If you beat the campaign, and also give it to people a week early. So if they want to play something new in Call of Duty, they're going to play the campaign because they can't play multiplayer. So you know, we got the campaign early, played the campaign, and it's like, look, whatever. Okay, it's a Call of Duty campaign. This is what I was trying to tell people. It's not spectacular. It's actually there are levels in this campaign that were actually very frustrating. Where there's like crafting levels because they decided to introduce crafting into Call of Duty, which is like, okay, fine. I wonder if that's going to make it into Warzone. But you're running around crafting and the AI is just annoying as fuck. And you get into these situations where the game will autosave in the worst possible place. And so you're stuck debating in your head whether or not you turn down the difficulty so that you can get yourself out of this mess, or do you try and push through and you play it for like hours trying to get through this. It was very frustrating. The campaign's very linear too. It like tries to trick you into thinking it's open world, but it's really not. It forces you down a path. The story, okay, whatever, right? Like you could see the bad guy a mile away because he was the only cisgendered white American male. So obviously this guy's going to be a bad guy. It's like you knew this Graves guy was going, spoilers, I guess, if you give a shit. You knew this Graves guy was going to turn out to be a supreme dickhead because he's white, he's cisgender, and he's American. So obviously he's going to be the bad guy. There's a lot of like, you know, forced, I don't know, there's like a 50, 60-year-old woman who like comes out of retirement because she misses the action. We're led to believe that she was some sort of soldier before. And so she gets back in the game as if she would be as proficient at 50. It's sort of ridiculous. It really sort of is. And so that, you know, it's just a by the numbers story. I really didn't think it was like great or fun. There are some fun levels, but it was mostly just, I got to beat this so that I can get these calling cards and blueprints. And then multiplayer drops. And the funny thing is, it drops. So there was a beta. There was actually a beta for this multiplayer. The beta ran smoothly, but a lot of people just didn't like the way the game felt. But it ran smoothly. So it kind of led you to believe like they're going to have a pretty smooth opening for COD. It's going to be a pretty smooth release. No, it was not a smooth release. There were a lot of bugs for this. So let's take a look. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and this was the list of bugs and launch issues. So these were the list of issues that dropped during launch. Sometimes connections may fail and return an error code. Okay, they have a troubleshooting guide for you if you get the server problems. You might have issues trying to find matches or get an unspecified error and return to lobby. That happens every Call of Duty, even after years of it being out. The parties crashing thing was the biggest piece of shit. So I was trying to play with all my friends. We took the day off of work so that we could play this because we like Call of Duty. It's mindless multiplayer. It's fun. It's kind of fun to turn your brain off and just run around and do this. But we could not play together because parties were broken, particularly with cross-platform. So the Xbox people had trouble playing with the PC people, but everything. I mean, it would crash. It would hard crash your game. Game audio just shuts itself off. This says it's the PS4 version of the game. I'm playing on an Xbox Series X, and I was getting the same issue. Like my audio would just randomly go away. But as you can see, there are a lot of issues. Now, like this says, some issues are to be expected. Sure. But there were a ton of issues. The maps, so I'll go into like the actual gameplay. I do think multiplayer is fun. I think this Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer is better than Vanguard's was. It's better than Black Ops was. Black Ops Cold War. This is the best multiplayer has been in a while. And I say that fully aware of the fact that the maps aren't fantastic. They're okay, but they're not great. I mean, they really do promote camping in a lot of cases. There are a lot of hidey holes and corners that you can hide around. It definitely promotes that. But I've had more fun playing multiplayer than I have in a long time. Like, it's actually fun to jay up with your boys and play some multiplayer. And I can't say that it was fun playing Vanguard's multiplayer, and I can't say that it was entirely fun playing Black Ops Cold War's multiplayer. But Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer, I can say, is fun. I like that you have to, like, there are platforms for guns, and you have to play with certain guns to unlock other guns. I like that. I like that the camo challenges have kind of been shrank down. They're more concise, and I like that. I think that's good. There's still a lot of replayability because there's a lot of guns. I like that they encourage you to play the co-op mode, and the co-op mode is actually fun as well. Where I've had the least amount of fun is Ground War, but that's personal preference. Some people love Ground War. So outside of all of the bugs and issues and launch day crap, I will say the multiplayer is fun. If I were to give it a rating out of 10 right now, I would give it like a 6 because it's fun, but the bugs were very annoying. That rating could go up or down. We'll see what they do with weapon nerfs and yada, yada, yada. And when the cheaters really start coming into play here, because it will happen. It is a problem. The other thing I will say is there is wokeness in there because when you go to the calling cards and emblems section, they have these wavy gay flags. They have every sort of LGBTQ plus flag you could ever think to have. No country flags, by the way, just the LGBTQ plus flags. So any one of those, the variations of those flags, and there are about 700 of them, you can get that on Call of Duty. Now, some of them have some motion and some of them don't. So I think there's going to be some pissed off pansexuals whose flag doesn't wave, but the trans people's flag does. So they're going to be a little pissed off about that probably. But of course, you know, they have to throw that in there. I'd really be curious, and I'm not knocking, listen, because whatever, people are probably going to get pissed. I don't even fucking care. I'm not knocking your lifestyle. You do whatever the fuck you want to do in your home, right? I'm very libertarian. I don't care. But I will say probably not a huge trans community playing Call of Duty. Probably not a huge gay community playing Call of Duty. So pandering to them just so that you can check a box, which is obviously what they're doing, right? No one is saying, man, the game is 10 times better because I can have a rainbow flag. And by the way, most of the people who I see playing with the rainbow flag are obviously making fun of it, and you can tell by their names. Butt sex 19 is probably not actually a gay person. It's probably somebody who is making fun of gay people. Right? So I don't know. I think it's silly. I think it's all silly. I really do. They have a character in the game that has vitiligo. I think that's silly. I've never, maybe I'm just weird, but I've never been in a position where I've like looked at, and okay, because I'm a white guy, whatever, play any game now. There's no white Americans who are the good guys in any game. So almost every game, I'm not represented anymore. But I've never looked at a game and gone, fuck, man, the character's black. I'm not represented in this game. How could I ever play this game? How could I ever get enjoyment out of this game? When, if I play Horizon, I'm not going, well, fuck, I got to play as a woman. You're telling me I got to play as a woman? I'm not represented in this game. How could I ever play this game? How could I ever have fun with this game? I'm not represented. Never have I ever watched something that doesn't have white people in it and go, oh God, I would love to watch Black Panther, but there's just no white people in it. So I'm not represented in this movie. How could I ever watch? No, because no normal human being thinks like this. Weirdo, mentally ill people think like this. And so for Activision to placate to these people just to check a box, it's just fucking stupid. And you know why they're doing it? Because normal people aren't going to care. Normal people aren't going to care. They're just going to play. I'm surprised there isn't a Ukrainian flag. Maybe there is. I should go back and check. But in all honesty, normal people aren't going to give a shit about that. Only the fucking people would care. So that's who they're catering to. They're catering to those people because they want them to shut up and normal people get. But it annoys me. It annoys me like just this much. I can ignore it, but it's still kind of annoying. And if you don't like me anymore, then unsubscribe. I don't give a shit. You don't like that opinion? I don't care. Don't care. Live your life how you want. But I just think it's stupid for Activision to pander to anybody. Just don't have any flags at all then. Have fucking skulls and shit, and that's it. So overall, I would say Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 so far has been a positive experience. We'll see if that continues. And I'm playing on an Xbox Series X. I cannot speak to how it is on PC or PS5. So that's that. Guys, I think we're going to call it. I think that's it for today. If you're joining, thanks for joining. If you'd like, please like, share, subscribe, do all the good things for the show. I really appreciate you being here and watching and participating. But I think that's it. I think that's enough. I think I got my blood pressure up just enough to call it. So thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. I will see you all next time. Peace.